All right. I believe we are live. What is going on, everybody? So let me know where you guys are calling in from around the world. Let me hear me loud and clear. I got the YouTube chat up on my phone right here, so I can see your guys' comments as well too. And then we're gonna be sharing our screen. We got a lot to cover with you guys over the next few minutes. It's 4 a.m. for me right now, so I flew from Miami, Florida, to Dubai, and here for about a week, having fun, and going to be shooting a lot of content out here as well too for business, and lots of great things you guys are going to be updated with on the YouTube channel and in the community. So I'm excited to be here with you guys. Let me know in the chat where you're calling in from. I want to see the comments. I got San Francisco, Phoenix, Arizona, Ohio, Mexico, Texas, California as well too. Atlanta, awesome. All right, Germany, Rhode Island. Wow, guys. Wow. This is incredible to see everyone from all around the world. And this just shows the power of, not only social media for business, but crypto, and how many people are jumping into this whole industry to absolutely transform their lives. So, what I want to do is dive into the screen here, and I want to show you guys, what we got together for you. So, I'm very curious on your guys' results in the crypto space, and also how long those of you have been in crypto for. So let me know how many years you guys have been in crypto as well too, because we got some OGs on the channel that have been here since earlier than us as well too. 2014. I got into crypto 2016, and I started investing heavily into 2017, and that bull run was incredible, but learned some very valuable lessons that I take with me today. And had I known what I know now, thanks to what I've learned from our research team that you guys have met over the past few months, it would have completely transformed my portfolio back then. But hey, we have to go through the school of hard knocks in order to learn some lessons to get to where we are today. So can you guys see my screen right now? Let me know in the chat if you can see my screen. Give me a yes if you can see it. Let me know. I just see 5 years, 3 years, 3 weeks, 2017. Can I get a yes in the chat? Yes. All right, cool. So let's go ahead. Let's get started. How many of you guys are idle holders? In other words, you've got at least $20,000 of crypto you're holding on to with no yield or strategy right now. You're just holding spot, whether it be in a centralized exchange, decentralized exchange. You're just holding on to it, and you're riding this entire bull run. So I see lots of yeses. So that's a lot of people. Okay. So you guys aren't beginners here, so yep. I see lots of yeses. Awesome. So honestly, you guys are not alone. It's completely normal. In fact, most people fall under this idle holders category, and that's the majority of the industry. That's the majority of investors, because it can be very complicated to understand how to put your crypto to work for you. So our goal is to simplify it for you over the next few days inside of our crypto passive cash flow challenge. So if your coins aren't doing anything, it's like the investor who, bought some land, you bought some real estate properties, but you're not renting them out. You're just sitting on them. You're sitting on the property hoping that they go up in value because of the Federal Reserve and the Treasury printing unlimited monetary print orders of the US dollar. And sure, your property might appreciate in value and you'll profit when it comes time to sell. I bought a property or a condo out in Miami before interest rates took off. And then I actually sold it before Donald Trump got elected and before the crypto market took off. So it was actually pretty good move. Can't complain, but you could be doing far more if you guys are holding on to real estate, and far more with your crypto portfolio on the side before you sell it, before it's time to actually take profits and put it into the real world and start buying real estate or buying precious metals or living on the interest. And what you guys choose to do by the end of, this whole entire workshop and this masterclass is up to you guys. So most crypto holders are living a weird contradiction that we've seen. On one hand, they get it. They completely understand that traditional finance is broken. That 4% yield savings accounts in a bank and 7% stock returns barely keep up with real inflation. And that's the old financial system, right? It's rigged. We all understand that. For the regular person out there, that's why you got into crypto in the first place. You get it, you see it. We don't have to convince you of that. But then most people do the strangest thing. They put all their money in a savings account, earning only 3 to 5% annual yield. They max out their 401ks, chasing those 7% annual returns, and they keep playing the traditional finance game with most of their money while letting their crypto just sit there doing absolutely nothing. So take a second and really think about that, because you're smart enough to recognize that the traditional financial system feels like it's just one strong gust of wind away from falling apart, with banks collapsing, like you guys saw what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. I'm not sure if many of you guys had any money in Silicon Valley Bank, but a lot of people did. And you're leaving your crypto completely idle instead of making it work for you. And here's what's crazy. While your savings account pays you 4%, your 401k, might hit 7%, and the banks loan out your money so they can make even more money through the fractional reserve system. There are DeFi protocols that earn 12%, 20%, 45%, some of them 100% or higher annually. And I'm going to get into the disclaimer in a little bit because results aren't typical. We're going to share those with you guys, and you're going to see how this is possible. And then smart money, they know how to use them, right? And so this has not been shared with the general public until today. So some assets you're already holding and some that you'll discover by the end of these 3 days that may even be better than the ones that you're holding right now. So it's the same risk profile you're already comfortable with, that you're already using. You're not taking on additional risk here. It just actually works for you instead of sitting there hoping for the next pump. And so that's what we're going to show you guys how to do today. Let me know if you guys are excited for this because you're here. Deep down, you want your crypto to actually start working for you, right? You have coins, they're sitting idle, they're collecting dust. You may be worried about getting scammed. You may be worried about the risk. You don't understand much about DeFi because, you've just gotten into space through whether it be XRP, Bitcoin, one of the top 10 coins, and you saw what happened with FTX, and, maybe it scares you. This will be the most important 3 days for you guys to understand before the end of this bull run. Because believe me, if you knew how safe and simple it is to put your crypto portfolio to work, generating daily passive yield while still maintaining exposure to the coins you're holding long term, and if you also knew you could do it without losing sleep over volatility or worrying about some protocol, blowing up overnight and wiping out your entire stack, then you would never go back to just holding and hoping again, or leaving all your money in a low interest savings account while the banks use your money to make even more money, loaning it out to businesses. And it's not only possible, but by the end of the next 3 days, you're going to have a clear strategy on how to start doing it. And most importantly, here's some examples for you guys of what I mean. Here's one DeFi liquidity pool that took less than 10 minutes to set up, earns a variable yield of 11% over 30 days or 163% annually on Bitcoin to, USDC. So tracking the price of Bitcoin, and with Bitcoin breaking out, that yield does fluctuate. And we're going to explain more about that with yield farming strategies that you guys can be able to leverage. So for those of you, who are trading, and maybe you trade leverage, or you're just trading, swing trading, day trading, and you want to know, where do you tuck your income away that you're profiting from for trading? Or if you want to leverage DeFi liquidity pools to earn extra income that you can trade with, it's a yin and a yang, which is a great, strategy for the other side of the equation as well too. And before we go into a bear market as well too, to understand this right now, when you guys implement these strategies, by the time we go into a bear market and live on the yield, that's the best place to come from. Because to be able to travel the world, without using your earned income, most people, they use earned income, they work a job, they take that earned income, they don't invest it, they then spend it, and then they spend it on bills, they spend it on their mortgage, they spend it on rent, phone payments, food, kids, you name it. And most people don't get ahead because they don't know how to invest. And the people that do invest, they just hold spot. They don't earn yield on that. And they don't understand anything about living on the APY. And so that's the biggest takeaway that I was able to, learn when, Ryan, who I'm going to be bringing up on here in a little bit to explain to you guys, taught me and really helped me understand. So for those of you that, are trading, this may take the pressure off you guys to, not have to worry about drawdown, not have to worry about, taking massive losses on your trading portfolio. So you can trade when you want and still have passive money coming in, when you're not trading as well too. So I do have a warning for you as well too. This is going to be raw. It's going to be boring, but it's going to be tactical content we usually only share in our paid community. So, if you're watching this right now, some people, that are having their crypto actually work for them in our community are earning $20 a day, $50 a day, $100 a day. Some people over $1,000 a day, depending on the size of your portfolio. So just never compare your level 1 to someone else's level 50. If you're level 50, don't compare your level 50 to someone else's level Michael Saylor. You know what I mean? We're all climbing together. We're all growing together. And we're all running to the top. So what I'll need of you guys right now is your undivided attention, because you might be driving in your car. For me, it's 4 a.m. out here in Dubai. I'm fired up right now. I just had a little coffee, so I'm caffeinated. Probably not going to sleep for 3 days straight. So we'll see if I get any shut-eye tonight after this. But I need your undivided attention. So block out all distractions, go into a quiet room, and open yourself up to what we're going to be teaching you over the next 3 days. Okay, we're going to dive deep. We're going to give as much value as possible. And this could run over an hour long. We don't know how long this will go, because if you guys have questions, if you drop them in the chat, by the end, we'll answer some of your questions. And most of your questions will be answered throughout the course of the next few minutes in the next hour. So please pay very close attention, focus. And as always, the disclaimer, screenshot this, read this. We make no guarantees. Our content is purely for educational purposes only, entertainment purposes only. Past results don't guarantee future profits. You're very intelligent. I don't have to insult your intelligence here, because you guys understand this. It takes solid risk management, patience, persistence to make money with crypto. We're not going to guarantee any results. Crypto's risky. You can lose money if you don't apply what we're going to be sharing with you. In fact, a lot of people that get into the space, they just blindly invest because they saw something on Twitter or they saw a YouTube video, and they don't avoid the pitfalls that most people fall into that causes them to get hacked, causes them to get scammed, causes them to lose money. And we've been through all of it. So, yes, we've had success, but we've had a lot of failures. And through those failures, our goal is to help you overcome those, so you don't have to go through the same pitfalls that we went through that back in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, which would put us further ahead today. So our goal is to help you compress timeframes down so you can get results faster in less time. Okay. So if you're not willing to take responsibility for your own investments, do not buy any cryptocurrencies that we mentioned. We never recommend buying or selling anything. We only provide real-time updates, news, and then what you choose to do with that information is completely up to you. So give me a yes in the comments below if you guys agree with this disclaimer, if this makes sense to you. Okay. And if you're willing to take responsibility as a full-grown adult, many of you are older than me. You've been on this rock a lot longer than me. So you definitely understand this. All right. And overview over the next 3 days. So screenshot this, guys. Save it if you like. And if you pay attention and show up every day, this is what you're going to be able to achieve by the end of the next 3 days. Okay. So I see a lot of yeses in the chat. I'm going to bounce back and forth between the chat and here with you guys. All right. So here's an overview of today's session. Number one, what's going to be covered is yield farming. Okay. What is yield farming? Why should you be doing it if you're holding your crypto? Number two, maximizing your portfolio gains. Why most crypto portfolios aren't reaching their full potential, the reason why, and how to fix that. Number three, liquidity providing. How liquidity providing can supercharge your crypto portfolio, because a lot of people, when they understand this, it will completely change the game for them. So we're going to dive deep over the next 3 days. And because this is a live only experience, the recordings won't be available publicly after the event. However, if you stay through all the 3 days live every single day, then we're going to send you the full recordings for free. Even the roundtable crowd won't get this unless they stay all the way to the end, guys. So you need to make sure you stay all the way to the end to get the recordings for this. So this is our gift to the people who show up and take action. And I'll say it again, okay? You must show up across all 3 days to receive the recordings, and it's going to benefit you either way. If I'm able to show up at 4 a.m. here and jump on with you guys, out here in Dubai, then we all got no excuses, right? How bad do you want to succeed? Because I want to be upfront about something. We're not here to BS you guys with some altruistic, combination of words and attempt to yield farm karma with you. We're doing this because these systems actually work. We have people achieving massive results, and we'll share those with you by the end. And if you see the value, maybe you want to work with us on a deeper level. Now, as many of you guys already know that have been a part of Altcoin Pro University, our $97 a month self-paced program, that's where thousands of people have joined since November. We already started building their foundation in crypto and teaching them, with our amazing research team and Ryan, who's going to be jumping up, and Yoni as well too, with you guys over the next few days to provide an insane amount of value. These guys are very intelligent, a lot smarter than me with crypto. I've studied marketing over the past 10 years, so I've been able to build a pretty successful YouTube channel and brand, but I've learned so much about crypto from them that have saved me lots of money, lots of time, lots of stress. And I'm not here to talk much about Altcoin Pro University, but what we've been working on is something entirely different. You guys are going to hear about that by the end of, I believe it's day 2 as well too. So, it's something that thousands of people have asked us for over the years on the Bull Runners YouTube channel, but we've never offered it before. So a more immersive hands-on experience for those of you that want deeper support, real-time mentorship, a structured system that's built with you to help you guys achieve results. And for the first time ever, we'll be revealing that at the end of day 2. So make no mistake, we know that in order to achieve success, in the crypto space, and in order to, join anything that will get you results, we first have to provide an immense amount of value before we ask for anything in return. And that's what we're going to do. So I encourage you guys, treat this like you paid at least $5,000 to be here. I know this is free, and I know it's easy to slack off, not pay attention, not take notes. And I'll share a little bit about, what took my game to the next level when I was 19 years old in entrepreneurship that completely transformed things for me that you can apply on today's call. Because honestly, people paid anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 to attend some of the live events and masterminds and coaching programs that not only we've been at, but we've spoken at, that we've paid to attend, and the events that we've coached at, and taught people in person has changed a lot of people's lives. And I have a quick favor for you guys too. During this live event online, at any point during this challenge, when you have a breakthrough moment or you realize that the information was worth more than the time you spent to be here, just comment "it's paid" in the chat. That's it. That's all I ask. Comment "it's paid." And, when you guys get some value or an aha moment or a light bulb, lights up on top of your head here, I want to see "it's paid," because our goal is to make sure every single person in here comments "it's paid" at least once over the next 3 days. Because honestly, if we're giving away insights that took us nearly a decade to learn, we need to know it's actually helping you guys, because that's why we do this. I'm greedy for testimonies. Okay. The income I don't care about. Income is just a tool to live an amazing lifestyle, to travel the world and provide for your loved ones. But I do this to see you guys get results and to get value. And honestly, it'd be nice to get some interaction in the comments as well too, while I present, so it doesn't feel like I'm just talking to myself in another YouTube video here. So when you have that moment where it clicks, you have that aha moment, just comment "it's paid." All right. Because one single insight could be worth its weight in not gold, but crypto these days. So over $10,000. All you need is one little thing that could take your portfolio to the next level, guys. And, when I discovered some stuff from Ryan, who is going to be jumping up here in a little bit, I had those aha moments. And so this is going to allow you to finally understand the future of finance, which is DeFi. It's going to allow you to finally feel secure with your crypto portfolio, make your crypto start paying you daily, and free you from the stress of now is the right time to buy or sell. How do you time market cycles? Yes, there's certain indicators and macro market things you can look at that we're going to be covering, but to sell the top's very difficult. You don't need to sell the top to make money. You could be making money while we are through this entire bull run and this entire bear market. So for those of you guys that are brand new here on the YouTube channel, make sure you like it. I appreciate that. Andrea, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Let's hit 400,000 subscribers over the next 30 days. If we can do that, that'd be incredible. I've been breaking down crypto on YouTube for over 5 years. I started investing in crypto about 8-9 years ago and was able to build this YouTube channel over 360,000 when these slides were created. I think we're at 370,000 now, which is incredible. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. We've accumulated about 65 million views. We have an amazing team on the front end and back end with about 60% American viewership, which is insane, because that means approximately 1 in 9 Americans have watched a Bull Runners YouTube video. Like I'm humbled. I'm grateful because, I'm just someone that's sharing what I find every single day and learning with you guys. And I don't say this to impress you at all. It's to show you that millions of people are diving into crypto, but there's still like 99% of the population that doesn't know what you're about to learn today, because they're listening to mainstream media and they're waiting until the last minute to buy in. And those retail investors usually end up getting wrecked. And then they have to learn the hard way. Then they discover our channel. Then they get started with Altcoin Pro and they end up realizing what they should have realized day one. So when I got started in entrepreneurship, I was 19 years old. I invested every single penny I ever made or had into my education and my mentor. So I would attribute all of my success to amazing mentorship. Here's a picture of me on the left back when I was 19 years old at an event. I believe this was in Las Vegas with my mentor at the time, Bob Proctor, before he passed away. Rest in peace. Bob Proctor is an absolute legend. So at that time, I was going broke investing in myself. I wasn't putting any money into investments in the market because I realized that investment in myself would yield me the biggest ROI, because the government can take everything away from you if they want. You might think you own a house, but really you're borrowing it from the bank. You still got to pay your mortgage and the interest on it. So they could take your house, they could take your cars. Look what happened with Andrew Tate, right? They can take everything from you, but they can't take what's up here. So if you spend your time and your money studying, the markets from the right people, you can achieve success. So that's what I did over the last 10 years. So I invested every penny that I ever made from 2012 to 2020 over an 8-year period to learn from the best. And had I not done that, I would not be where I am today. And also, had I not partnered with the right people that were more intelligent in areas that I didn't understand, then I would not be where I am today. So that brings me to where we are today. Okay. It wasn't until I teamed up with Ryan Horst that I felt like I had a system and a process that would actually work for the average person, because teaching is one thing, but actually giving people a step-by-step system that's safe, that's tested, and works in any market, that's a whole different level. And we also partnered with our mentors, Alex Hermosi and Sam Ovens, who we've been looking up to over the years and learning from. You guys have, if you're in the marketing space and business space, you've seen Alex Hermosi everywhere. A lot of you OGs know who Sam Ovens is as well too. Watched a lot of his content, learned a lot from him. So in this photo right here, we actually won a contest they put on by becoming the fastest growing blockchain education company in the world on their platform. And we went out to Las Vegas. We, met them in person at the acquisition headquarters, and it's all thanks to you guys. And we actually did an event at the exact same time. So we had about, 50 to 70 people from around the world fly out, pay thousands of dollars to be there in person. And it was cool to meet each and every single one of you guys at that event. And so we're just getting started. We launched back in November and we continue to expand. And I will tell you guys what, there is nobody better that I could have partnered with on this call today than Ryan Horst. So I'm pumped to have him here with us. Now, those who attended the VIP session prior to this one on the round table, know Ryan, but for the new faces on the YouTube channel that haven't seen Ryan yet, he's been in the blockchain and crypto space for almost a decade now. He's personally helped thousands of people over the years grow their portfolios to 6, 7, 8, even 9 figures safely and securely. He's spoken on stages all around the world. He's been on the news, spoken in Estonia, lives in Tampa, spoken in Switzerland and Fort Lauderdale. He's taught people in person and also online. And the cool thing about, Ryan that I really like is his tenacity to detail and his focus on detail to really help people truly understand the little itty bitty things that they overlook that might hold them back or they might miss in their portfolio that are the game changers, right? And so, what makes Ryan different, why I trust him, is his obsession with protecting your portfolio from the exact scams and hacks that wrecked most people's portfolio, like FTX, okay, like Celsius, BlockFi, Terra Luna during the 2022 bear market that absolutely wrecked the market. And people thought, everything was going to go up forever, that bull run. That was their first bull run, similar to 2016, 17. They had to learn the hard way. And maybe that's you. And here you are today. So with that being said, what I want to do is bring up Ryan and have him dive into detail, not only with his story, but the information that completely changed the game for him, changed the game for me, and the rest of our team as well too. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in as well too. Comment "it's paid" if you get value from what Ryan's about to share. Grab your notebook, grab your pen. Every single event that I ever went to that I spent money on over the past 8, 10 years plus, I would always take as much notes as possible. I would sit front row, okay? Because your high teachability index, your high willingness to learn will help you get results. So grab your notebook, grab your pen. With that being said, Ryan, you up here? Can you hear me?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Type yes in the chat if you guys can hear me. I just want to make sure everything's coming through all right. So far, nothing. Okay, this is going great. Can you guys hear me? Type a yes. Beautiful. Okay, Joshua, first one. Thank you. I appreciate it. There might just be a lag on this. Guys, I just want to start off. I was just like sitting here while Nick was talking, and I'm just watching the comments come through, and it's so much positivity. That was one of the big things I noticed when I linked arms with Nick to create Altcoin Pro, that just the amount of positivity that's within the community. The minute we launched Altcoin Pro, the community came together, and it was like everybody's welcoming people into the group. There's so much positivity. People are just so thankful, so grateful all the time. It's just, and I'm watching the comments, and it's just something that like I felt on my heart I had to share. And like, it's just seeing like, Nick, we appreciate you. You're so good at teaching, like constant, just like there's so much positivity in the comments section. It just blows my mind. I'm just like, I'm just incredibly grateful to have partnered with somebody that has such a positive energy that they emit into their YouTube channel, which then has brought together so many positive vibes, if that's even a word, so much positive vibrational energy within this overall community that is now not just bull runners, but altcoin pro. So I just wanted to start with, that's not like in the presentation or anything. It's just something I was feeling. And I wanted to share that with you guys. I'll let you know I appreciate you for that. But awesome. So let's go ahead and dive into my part of things. Cool. All right, guys. So first off, I just want to say how pumped I am to actually be here with you. Nick was actually talking about on the last session in the VIP round table session, how we met. And I want to kind of elaborate on a little bit further for the people that weren't on that session. Okay. So, you moved me back over. Somebody did. All right. Cool. So basically what happened was I had just moved into a new apartment over here in Tampa. And I got a text from my buddy Tony, who's like kind of like a mentor to me. He's like about 10 years older than me. He's like, hey, I'm going to this event called Secret Knock. I'd love for you to make it out. I'm like, great. When is it? We're on the phone. He's like, it's tomorrow. Keep in mind, it's 11 p.m. 11 p.m. at night. So then I'm like, okay, at this point in my life, this was 2021. I'm in like a season of yes. Who here has had like a season of yes, where they just like went through a moment in time where they just said yes to every single opportunity? If that's you, just go ahead and comment yes in the comment section. That was me in that moment of time. And I have this thing where like I like my word is like everything to me. So I said yes because I previously told myself that I was going to say yes to opportunities when they arose. And I got my flight and I flew out that next morning, like an 8-hour heads up before my flight. I flew out to this. I don't even think I've told Nick about this, to be honest with you. I flew out to this conference, and my buddy Tony introduced me to Nick and some other individuals that was with him at the time. And I just like felt that he had such good intentions. And we were chatting a little bit, and he was like, wait, you actually know what you're talking about when it comes to cryptocurrency. And when you start to know crypto, it's very easy to discern between the people that know and don't know. But until you know that, it can be tough, which is why some people get scammed, because they don't know what they don't know. And people just have to know a little bit more information to be able to take advantage of them, which we're going to be going over that here in a minute with the crypto knowledge gap. But I went out there and I met Nick, and I felt like he was a good person. I could feel the good intentions, which is exactly why you guys are here today. You felt the good intentions from Nick. And so 4 years later, 2024, we partnered together. And then November, we launched Altcoin Pro University. And we've got something else that we're going to be launching for you guys, which I know Nick teased a little bit for you guys earlier in this session. So when I first met Nick, I was just beginning to get my crypto coaching company off the ground. Some of you guys might already know this story because you're in Altcoin Pro University. By the way, if you're already in Altcoin Pro University, go ahead and type in APU. I want to see how many people are actually here. Let me see. I think we've got a delay. They're going to come through here. APU, Stephanie, Dilesh, Kelly, Zach, Luke, Gueldo, Sustainable Jungle. Your parents were creative with that name. Peter Toderash, Sage. Beautiful. Sean's asking, how do I join? Go to school.com/altcoin-pro. You can check us out there. But cool. Good to see so many clients that are already here for this event. But when we met over in San Diego in 2021, I was just getting my crypto education company off the ground with my partner Yoni, who a lot of you guys in the VIP session met already. We had some success in crypto, some pretty big success in crypto from the time of like 2018 to 2021. And during that time, we put a lot of effort into learning the things that we didn't know. And then when 2020 came around, we had DeFi summer. It was the first time we ever had DeFi. We learned a lot through that. We started practicing with decentralized exchanges and all these different things like Uniswap. And we're like, okay, if this bull run's taking off right now in 2021, we know far more than the average person. People are going to get screwed, to be honest. If we don't actually step up, we decide to coach them, because we've already had success from 2018 to 2021, got burned in 2017, which is what you learned from. And then we built from there to launch our crypto coaching company, Blockchain Insight Group, or Big Crypto for short. Now, in 2021, when I first met Nick, I was actually working underneath my mentor, Tanner Chittister, who's on this side right here. And you're probably wondering, like, why is this even relevant? Well, back when I was working with Tanner, I was actually a one-to-one coach inside. If anybody knows Tanner, just throw like a me in the chat. He's a pretty popular business coach. he hired me in 2020 to be an online business coach inside of his business coaching company called Elite CEOs. And it's actually a 9-figure business coaching company. And that program was $16,000 to join in order to learn how to run your own coaching and consulting company. Now, I've known for years that I wanted to run a crypto coaching and consulting company. So I intentionally joined that job to learn how to be a business coach and to see what his course curriculum was like and how he structures everything. And through that, I learned how to effectively teach. I taught over 250 entrepreneurs how to start and scale their company. I found out that I had like a gift for like teaching things in a simple way. I was really starting to like grow into myself in this role. I had the crypto success, but like I hadn't had the success of like teaching people yet. So this really gave me that confidence to know like, okay, I have a talent here. I'm able to break down concepts in a way so simply that people actually understand it. And when we started Big Crypto, that talent got recognized by a lot of individuals all over the world. The ability for me to articulate difficult concepts in a way that people actually understand. And when I relayed that over into cryptocurrency, I was tackling an industry that needed that more than anything else. So when I started teaching crypto, Yoni and I started like a one-to-one coaching program, Big Crypto. We brought on, thousands of clients with that. Then that ability to teach that, like the seemingly concept topics, was really recognized. And then I started to speak on stages all over the world, as Nick was showing. I'm the main guy for Fox News when it comes to local Fox News for Tampa, for their crypto guy. I know Glenn Raby, who's in here, he actually found me from that interview and then became a client of ours. And then I also spoke over in Estonia, in Switzerland, in Tulum, Mexico. It just kept like, word just like picked up that this guy with like very little followers, I don't have a large follower base. So it's not like I was being chosen to speak at these events because I could bring eyeballs to their events. I don't have a large following. I think I've got like a little less than 10,000 on Instagram. And they were actually bringing me on because I brought value. And everybody that listened to me speak at these events would walk up to me and say, your speech was and I say this humbly, I don't want to seem like I'm trying to say, look at me, but like they'd come up to me and they'd say, your speech was the best one here. And that happened to me at my very first event in Miami Beach, when I actually shared the stage with Damon John, Elena Cardone. Interestingly enough, who was the guy that had the NFT album? Forgot his name, but like Marlon Wayans was there. Tons of massive individuals that are way bigger than me, right? But then at the end of the event, the owner of that convention, if you want to call it that conference, he came up to me and he said, with your 5-minute speech, I can tell you know more than everybody at this event, and I didn't even pay you to be here. You just ended up here on accident, to be honest with you. And that's where it all started. I got an opportunity from somebody that saw something in me that I thought I saw in myself. And that brought me up onto a stage in front of like 550 people. And then from there, a lot of people saw me speak and a lot of people joined the program. And then it all spreaded like wildfire from there. Okay, cool. Now, I know that I've mentioned that we've already had our one-to-one program, Big Crypto. These are some of the screenshots like from testimonials that we have of people that we've worked with. It's because we found a system that works. And I knew that we had to get more people involved with this system. So when the 2022 bear market happened, it got tough to bring on clients for a crypto coaching company, to be vulnerable with you guys. It was difficult because I didn't have a large following. And I knew I was like, I need to find somebody that has like the following and the trust that like already has the eyeballs. And I thought about Nick because I met him in 2021. And when I found Nick, it was a perfect match, right? We got on a call after I brought it up to him and he was like, there's nobody I would trust with this more than you. I mean, you've done what you've done so far. You've worked with thousands of clients and you don't even have an audience. So it's literally like word of mouth that's getting people to come and like listen to you and like be able to learn from you. And I already had a research team. I've got Yoni, and we had all these individuals that were already working with us on the research side of things. So it's like, if we could just bring my systems together with Nick's audience, which is you guys, like humbly, like I appreciate you guys, then we could make some magic happen. We could change a lot of lives, which is where we're at today. And that's led to, I want to shout out Herschel. I think Herschel's here. I saw him earlier. Herschel is actually up here too. So I guess I shouldn't like call him out like that, but hi Herschel. Love you, bro. And then that led to us launching Altcoin Pro. So we built Altcoin Pro because I wanted to make sure that there was, well, let me backtrack. I built Altcoin Pro University, right? Previously, we had a one-to-one crypto coaching program called BCAP, our Big Crypto Accelerator Program. And with that, I had to do high ticket first. And if you know business, you know what I mean by high ticket. I had to do a more expensive offering first because I didn't have a lot of eyeballs looking at my stuff. So I had to convert it to make as much money as possible with the little amount of leads I had, to be frank with you guys. And through doing that, I had to turn away so many people that, you know, when 2022 happened and like the collapse happened in the bear market, a lot of people got screwed, and it kind of ate at me, to be honest with you. And the reason it ate at me was because we actually had one lesson in our course curriculum that if the entire world watched it, it would have saved lives. It would have saved people from losing their savings. It would have saved people their marriages. One lesson in our course curriculum, which back in 2021, we kind of like, this curriculum is not really around anymore because we've gotten a revamped one and we still have this lesson involved, but like worded differently. It's why we don't trust centralized exchanges. Now, on the last call, I talked about FTX and Celsius and BlockFi and all of that stuff there. So, I mean, those words are like, I probably shouldn't even say those words. Somebody's going to like come out from the woodwork and I'm like, gotcha. But those are bad words for a lot of people because of what it did to the general public. And if the entire world would have watched that one lesson, it's 5 minutes long, lives would have been saved. Because I know there are people that committed suicide over that, guys. Like, having crypto securely stored somewhere is critical. Okay, so it kind of ate at me that we had such a high dollar value in order to join our program, but we kind of had to from a business perspective. So I knew that if I partnered with somebody like a YouTube channel like Nick, then we could offer a solution to the masses for only $97 a month. That even if you can't afford to work with me in a one-to-one capacity, me and my team, not just me, because I'm not the smartest one in my group, I promise. My research team is so much smarter than me. Those of you that are in APU, just like say Yoni or like say thumbs up or like say something, right? So we needed to get that to the masses so that they could be helped as well. So that's why we launched Altcoin Pro University. Okay, cool. All right. So, and what you guys also know, I know that Nick talked about it a good amount. Like, I've worked with a lot of like 9-figure, CEOs. I've worked with a Dubai royal family member in order to help consult him on his crypto, like a crypto exchange that he's doing. I flew out to Dubai, got dinner with him at like the Burj Khalifa. It was absolutely insane, by the way. But I did all those things. And with all of the high level individuals that I've worked with, they all had something in common. It wasn't that they were looking for Lambos or anything like that. It was that they had fear when it comes to the cryptocurrency markets. Okay? Fear. Fear is what's stopping you from collecting daily passive crypto cash flow inside of your portfolio. It's fear that you're one click away from losing your entire portfolio. It's fear that you'll invest in the AOL or Blockbuster of the crypto world and your investment will turn to zero. And do you know where that fear stems from? Anyone? Want to type it in the box below? It's uncertainty. And where does that uncertainty really come from? It comes from a lack of knowledge. Now, right here is what I like to call the crypto knowledge gap. Now, I want everybody to throw in the chat where they think they're at on this scale of 0 to 100. Okay. Now with zero being like you've never heard of Bitcoin, which I highly doubt anybody's a zero, and then like 100 being like you invented Bitcoin, like you're Satoshi Nakamoto or like the founder of Ethereum or like Vitalik Buterin or something, right? Now this chart is incredibly important because it can create awareness to understand that there are people out there that know more than you do. And with that information, this is the key part. They can either help you or they can hurt you. The person that's over here on this 100 out of 100, they might be a scammer and they might be trying to hurt you. Now, how do you protect yourself from that? You have to learn. You have to learn crypto. You have to learn how to use these wallets. You have to learn how the decentralized exchange system works. You have to learn how to protect yourself. The knowledge that you gain in this industry is your sword and shield in the crypto world. Okay. Now, how many people have actually heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? The Dunning-Kruger effect is actually what happens when you're going through the learning experience. This is it's confidence plotted over competence. So like at the beginning, when you start to learn something, you start to become a little bit more competent, but then your confidence goes up tremendously. And then from there, you start to learn that you don't know quite as much as you thought you knew, right? And then you start to go up the slope of enlightenment to where you start to learn more. Now, that's exactly where our clients were at when they first got started with us. This is where they were all at. We got them into yield farming with concentrated liquidity pools, which you'll learn a little bit more about today and also tomorrow. The very first one not one of the first ones, but we actually got them into one called Trader Joe. I don't know if you guys ever did Trader Joe back in the day when it was more popular. They're like one of the first ones to do concentrated liquidity, so we got them into that. And the tools have just gotten so much simpler now than they were when we were actually teaching this one-to-one program before partnering with Nick. They're so much simpler now. Now it's just like the user experience, the user interface has like everything I wanted back then. And these clients, when they were graduated, they finally understood that smart investors aren't just hodling anymore. They're earning daily, no matter what the market is doing. This is what lets investors like you have more patience and less concern over if the market's green or red today. Your brain space, guys, it's the most valuable thing that you have. Your brain space is too valuable to allow the market to take up as much time as it currently takes up. Creating a portfolio that brings you in passive returns by putting your crypto to work for you instead of allowing it to sit idly collecting dust is where the magic really happens. Whether the market goes up or down, you're in a better position either way. It goes up, well, great. You've got more of the same crypto that's going up in value. Going down, great. Now you have more of the coin that dropped in value, which hedges you slightly, so you're in a better position than you were before you were making the passive income. Cool. Okay, and then here are some examples of the different types of yield that we're actually earning. Here is a JLP pool that's earning 20% APY. This pool over here is earning 2.4% per day every 24 hours. Now, that is a variable rate that could go up or down. You could leave the range. There's a lot of nuances that go with that. So if you hear that and you think like that's a red flag, trust me, just wait until you're later in the presentation because I would also think the same thing. But it's a real thing, and you'll learn exactly how that works. Okay, cool. And now it's your turn to actually learn to do this. How many of you actually own rental properties? Type a 1 in the chat if you have a rental property. Now imagine that you've got this beautiful house in the water. You're in a great area. It's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars, and you just let it sit there. You just let it sit there. You didn't rent it out. You just let it sit empty for years. Be honest, would you ever do that? Type no way in the chat if you'd ever let something like that happen. You just let it sit there and do absolutely nothing. You wouldn't do that. So hodling alone is actually costing you money. Every idle coin is leaving cash on the table. Okay. Now, what exactly is crypto yield? Right? It's income you can earn automatically just by clicking a few buttons and holding your crypto in the right place. It seems like it's the super complicated thing, but we're going to break it down simply for you guys during the next couple of days. So where it's going to be, you're going to be like, oh, that's all that's happening. I thought it was way more complex than that. And to be honest with you, that's just about everything when you learn it. You realize like, wait, this is way simpler than I realized it was, right? You're not trading. You're not watching trading view charts daily, just like locked in all the time. You're not trying to time the market perfectly, right? You're just earning consistent passive income by taking note of when the market is going to be in like a sideways market for a period of time, right? You're just putting your coins to work for. You're earning rewards 24/7. You're still keeping exposure to your assets at the same time, right? Unlike the fake 500% APYs, real passive yield comes from actual value being created. And I say that because when you're actually going to be making value for the overall ecosystem. You're not getting paid this money just to get paid this money. You're providing value to the crypto world, and that's what allows you to earn passive yield. Okay. For example, you could get money from trading fees on decentralized exchanges like Uniswap or Curve or Orca or Radium. There's tons of them. You could be lending your coins and earning interest from platforms like Aave or Morpho. You could be earning in the protocol revenue from like projects like Jupiter or like GMX. And then you could also be earning staking rewards for securing blockchains, specifically proof of stake blockchains like Ethereum, Sui, and Solana. There's many more that are also proof of stake. And if you want to get really fancy, delegated proof of stake, but we won't go there. Now, we went over this in the last lesson in the VIP section, but in order to be able to do this, you have to know how to get your funds into the DeFi world, right? Most people are holding their cryptocurrency on centralized exchanges in CeFi. So if you missed that, like the roundtable session, in that we specifically taught you guys how to move your funds into the DeFi world, how to get a wallet and do all of that stuff there. So if you don't know how to do that, we teach it inside of our program. So that's in Altcoin Pro University, but that's for another topic there. Okay, cool. Now, the question a lot of people ask us is, should I trade or should I earn yield? And honestly, it completely depends on your preferences, like everything else in crypto and like the world in general, right? Many people like to roll their profits from trading and put it into passive and or active yields. And other people like to leverage like yield farming in tandem with their crypto trading strategies so they can maximize their opportunity on each trade, right? So that's interesting, right? So like with yield farming, you make a good amount of money when the market goes sideways, right? When you're trading the volatility, right? And then with trading, you make most of your money when it's going up or going down, right? And I'll talk more about this later, but this allows you to make money no matter what the market is doing, which is beautiful, right? And you no longer feel victim to waiting for the market to do something. Now, other people have actually abandoned trading altogether and have switched over to simply investing and yield farming. And why might they do this, you might ask? Because trading is a highly emotional game. You've got consistent emotional highs and emotional lows, and many people have a difficult time with that. On top of that, with yield farming, you make money, as I was saying before, while the market trades sideways, which is amazing because the market trades sideways about 70% of the time. Right. So if you still want to swing trade or day trade or whatever you want to do there, you can be patient for the perfect setup while earning yield during that time between trades. Okay. And I know that we're going through a lot of like build up to get to the meat of these things, but I want to make sure you guys are aware. We do these presentations so that it is a fit for everybody. There might not be people that are at the level that you guys are at that fully understand why that there's so many benefits to doing the yield farming to earning the passive yield. Okay. So the intention of this is to bring everybody up to the same place so we have a good foundation together. Okay. And here are some of the key benefits of yield farming. There's far less motions involved. It can be completely passive. Not always. It can be semi-passive, but it can be completely passive. Just want to shoot you guys straight. There's no worry of being liquidated. And it's a little more boring. To be completely honest with you. It's a little more boring than doing leverage trading or something like that. You're not going to have the emotional highs of like, oh, my leverage trade, it's going to the moon. You're not going to have that as much, right? Because you're making yield. It's just sitting there, right? Which is actually a good thing. You actually want to be a boring investor. Investing should not be emotional. That's why the robots of the world are the ones that are now starting to rule the trading game because they don't have emotions, right? Making swing trades without discipline, strategy, and mastered emotions is like trying to beat the casino at blackjack. Sure, a few get lucky, but most lose to the house. You're playing a game against people with decades of trading experience, and the odds of you being better than them and winning are lower. Many people are just losing all the time. And you don't need decades of trading experience in order to make an income with yield farming, okay? Now, meanwhile, the smartest investors, they're the ones collecting the house's profits over and over again instead of trying to beat the house, right? So with yield farming, you're essentially like becoming the house in this scenario because you're getting paid for other people placing the trades. Okay. So how do smart investors own the house? They set up systems that let other people trade and they profit from their transactions. Okay. They profit every time someone trades. These yields are not about timing the market or mastering your emotions. They're about collecting profits systematically. It's easier, not as stressful, and takes up all the time, or it takes up all of your time and brain space. It doesn't do those things, right? And you're looking to make a comfortable yield instead of trying to nail 10x leverage trades that could cripple your entire portfolio if they don't go your way. Too many people are trying to make 1,000% return in 1 month, as opposed to making 40% in a year, right? If you're making 40% a year, you are just destroying the average hedge fund. But so many people are caught up trying to make 5,000% a month that they let themselves fail. Now, I want to also set something straight here. Does this mean you should stop swing trading if you're actually doing it? No. We personally believe that you should only be in a position to trade about 20% of the time. So what do you do with the rest of the time? You could be putting your crypto to earn for you 24/7 with APRs higher than any other financial market. Now, look, we're not against swing trading. If you're a consistently profitable swing trader watching this, don't stop. Instead, take the profits from your swing trading and put them into yields. This is a much safer play than reinvesting into new trades or into idle coins. Okay, cool. And Warren Buffett famously said, wealth flows from the impatient to the patient. All right. Now, we went over this earlier, but the main types of yield, they're the staking, lending, and liquidity providing. But I want to take some time to go over these in a little bit more detail. So staking is when you lock your tokens to help secure a network, which is proof of stake. Examples are like ETH, Atom, Sol. Some of you guys that might be a little bit more advanced might be aware that you don't have to lock your tokens anymore. You could do something called liquid staking, which is something we teach in the program. But the risks that are involved are like slashing, protocol downtime, illiquidity during a lockup. Again, avoidable with the right strategy. And most of those yields are coming in around like, they could be 4% to 10%, but some of them are as high as like 40%. But you also got to be careful if you got yields as high as like 40%, because you got to pay attention to like, what is the what's the process like for minting new tokens? How often are tokens being minted? For example, Cosmos, Atom, they have like a 18-20% staking that they give you, but they also have a lot more tokens being created every year. So something to be aware of. So make sure you learn the tokenomics of the tokens that you're actually working with. Lending. You can lend your crypto to others via DeFi or CeFi and earn interest. Examples would be Aave, Compound, Morpho. Risks would be smart contract exploits or protocol hacks. And you could get decent returns of 5 to 10%, sometimes even higher. And then there's the passive liquidity providing and active liquidity providing, which I'm going to go over that after. It's where you deposit 2 tokens into a liquidity pool to enable trades, right? You're earning trading fees and possibly even incentives for like bonuses. And that means that you're making money on the trades that other people make, right? And we'll go over that in more detail later, but you're getting paid the trading fees instead of somebody like Coinbase, right? If you provide the liquidity. Examples of this would be like Uniswap, Curve, Balancer, Orca. You do have the risks of impermanent loss, price divergence, and smart contract risk. But with the proper strategies, you can mitigate these risks. Okay, much higher earning potential, like 10 to 30% APY. Cool. And then there's active liquidity providing. You could deposit 2 tokens into a liquidity pool to enable trades. Same as before. You earn the trading fees. It's the same stuff, guys. It's the only difference is that you're able to like earn a higher interest rate because of using something called like concentrated liquidity, which we're going to dive into a little bit later. It just means that you have to watch it more. It's less passive. So if you want a passive option, you can do that. But where the real money is made is when you actually you deploy a little bit more of an active strategy. And we've literally seen where you can earn like 5 to 10% in a single day by doing stuff like this. Okay. And you're not placing trades. Keep in mind, you are getting paid for other people to place trades. So this is how it works, right? Step 1, people trade on decentralized exchange. Every day, people are buying and selling on platforms like Uniswap, Curve, etc. Step 2, they need token pairs to trade. Traders don't trade with the protocol. They trade against pooled tokens, liquidity. Step 3, you provide the tokens, which is the liquidity. If you guys ever hear me use the word liquidity, that just means like money, right? Available money ready to be like disseminated or used, right? You deposit your coins into the liquidity pool, and then you become the liquidity provider. Step 4, you earn a fee on every trade. Every time someone trades using your pool, you get a cut of the fee 24/7. That's the basic flow. And tomorrow we'll walk you through it a little bit more in a more hands-on fashion. But for now, just know you provide tokens, others trade, you make money. That's it. ABC. All right. It's the perfect add-on to your trading and holding strategy. Most people believe that passive income is risky. If it pays yield, it must be a scam. And that can be the case, right? Which is why you have to, one, listen to the right people that have the results that you're looking for. And 2, know how to do the research to avoid those things, right? The beautiful thing about crypto is that all the data is out there available for you to find. You just have to know how to find it. It's a beautiful thing. Now, how about meme coin trading as a way to make money in crypto? Now, to be frank, we've done exceptionally well with meme coins, right? But it is a gambling game if you don't know what you're doing. It is one of the most risky things you can do. I've actually got some stats here coming up in a few slides so you guys can see some of the stats of this here. But if you're in APU and you caught Fartcoin at 9 cents with us, just throw that in the chat. I know that we just called Domo as well, which got somebody in the group like $105,000 in profit, which is absolutely insane. If you're here, feel free to drop something in there. If you want to be anonymous, I understand. It's a decent amount of money. But cool. But you can find bangers inside of Altcoin Pro University, but most of the time you're gonna lose, right? And one of the reasons for that is that with meme coins, there's a certain level of like time in the market to where you understand it. It's like this. It's this level of emotional and social intelligence that you're not just gonna boom have overnight, right? Most of the time, to be honest with you, chasing meme coins, especially without like a tested research system or insider information, is kind of like buying a used car off of Craigslist, right? There's no test drive, no inspection, no clue it'll break down tomorrow. It's just vibes, right? You're gambling 99% of the time. You're not investing. Now, here's some interesting data for you. If you're not aware, Pump Fun is like this website that you can go through to in the DeFi world on the Solana blockchain, where you can actually create your own token like in a matter of like minutes, right? You just make one instantly. So all people have to do to create their own token is just go on Pump Fun, create it in like 5 minutes, deploy some liquidity, and then create like a Twitter page and a website and maybe a Telegram, and then boom, they have a coin. So like that's also one of the reasons that there's so much fragmentation in the market right now. There's so many coins that can be created with like no resistance to creating one. So it's making altcoins a little bit more difficult to navigate than it used to be, which is why it's important to have a research team at your disposal. But basically, Pump Fun released some data, and they found out that 99.5% of the wallets lost money in this research system, right? 99%, right? Now, casino odds are 95% lose, 5% win. So if you're just a regular everyday person going into the meme coin trading world, trading new meme coins on Pump Fun without a proven strategy gives you like a 1 in 200 chance of winning. And at the casino, your odds are 1 in 20. Let that kind of like resonate with you guys for a second, right? But yield farming, it's more like owning a premium parking garage in a busy city. Reliable and automated. Every time someone parks, you get paid. It's that simple. Now, here's what smart investors know. You can earn from real economic activity, providing value to the overall system, right? In order for decentralized exchanges to operate, they need people like you and me. They need us. And in order for us to want to work with them, we have to get paid, right? We're filling the role of a market maker in the centralized finance world, right? That's why these Uniswaps and like Orca and stuff like that, that's why they're called automated market makers, is because they automate market making, right? And they need people like you and I to deploy liquidity, because there aren't centralized market makers that are coming in to deploy that liquidity. So we actually have an opportunity to be the market makers, which previously you had to be like this huge guy with like a gajillion dollars in like an institutional, firm, right? But DeFi is like taking that and they're disseminating it to the masses to create opportunity in a way that's never been possible before, right? As long as you work with like battle tested protocols like Uniswap or Aave or Curve, Pendle, Orca, Radium, there's a ton of them, right? Then you're in a safe position. Okay. And you need to follow boring, I hate to say it, boring, repeatable strategies in order to get there. Cool. The smartest investors are now using DeFi to earn daily, no matter what the market's doing. If we're up, if we're down, then if we're sideways, they're not gambling or praying. I mean, nothing wrong with praying. I hope you guys pray, but there's nothing wrong. I mean, your game plan shouldn't rely on that. Okay. Cool. And then here are some different types of pools that people will utilize. We've got like stablecoin pools. We've got blue chip pools and high risk pools. Okay. Just to give you guys like an idea in your mind of like what can be expected from this. So stablecoin pools are, where you're using stablecoins and then you're not going to have impermanent loss. It's going to be passive, more hands off, estimated to be about 8 to 15% yearly in APY, right? I don't want to graze over that. 8 to 15% annually. That's more than double on the low end of what you're getting from your high yield savings account. Now, keep in mind, I wouldn't just go full port everything over to that because there's still risks involved that you need to be aware of, right? So, but you can get 8 to 15% annually on that. And then with blue chip protocols, you could put your Bitcoin, your ETH, there's even some liquidity pools with like XRP and Solana, where you can put that to work for you with lower impermanent loss if you use like specific strategies to be able to effectively do that and mitigate your impermanent loss. And you can actually earn 10 to 20% monthly on that. And here's an actual example of that. Here's the example of a stablecoin yield as well. And if you have questions around like how that's possible, we can answer that at the end because it's really smart what they're doing for this pool over here. And then the way that you're able to get this yield over here is through a strategy that requires you to monitor, right? This is not going to be fully passive. Be completely upfront with you guys. If you're wanting to earn 16% a month on your Bitcoin or your ETH or whatever, you're going to have a more active strategy that will require you to check at least weekly. And depending on how tight you want to go with your ranges, could be daily. And there's also high risk pools, which are like trending coins with high volume and temporary incentives that have a higher permanent loss chance, to be honest with you. And then you can have like up to 1,000% APR at times until it drops. And you can actually get 50 to 300% monthly from some of these. But you have to watch these daily. This is not going to be a passive system. Okay. So let's actually run through a live example. Okay. So let's do the math. Okay. So we're actually going to jump into, let me share my screen here. 1 second. Let me pull this up. Orca. I'm actually just going to deploy some liquidity right now for you guys so you can see it. Okay. Can you guys see this screen over here? Okay. Yeah, you should be able to see it. Okay, so I've got some liquidity over here. I've got about $10,000 just ready in this account here. I'm going to show you guys tomorrow. We're going to go over like showing you guys like how to find these pools and all that stuff there. I'll dive into that here real quickly. Let me just do that real quick. Let me go to, let me get this to pull up. All right. So there's a website that we like. I think that'd be helpful for you guys. Wasn't part of the plan, but I'm thinking about it from your guys' perspective, and I'd want that. So this is a website that I love called DeFiLlama.com. Okay. And as you guys see, we are definitely running over the 1 hour point. But we got a ton of value for you here that's coming up. So this is DeFi Llama. Is there any way to make this bigger if possible? They're saying that it's a little bit small, but it's visible. But I'm going to keep going through with this. So this is DeFi Llama. So this is one of our favorite research tools inside of the crypto world. So we're actually able to go into here and we can check the different protocols and the different chains. And you can see how much liquidity is flowing into some of these different blockchains. So you can see like Solana gained 12% more liquidity in the last month, right? Bitcoin, 9%. Binance Smart Chain, 13%. You can actually sort this if you wanted to. I have no idea what Plume is to see what comes up, right? Let me go back. DeFi, TVL. Cool. So you can see Ethereum has the most TVL, then Solana, then Bitcoin, then Binance Smart Chain, Tron. Bitcoin is actually new on DeFi Llama. It wasn't here before. So I could click on this here, and I could click into Solana so I could see the different blockchain, the different protocols that are built on Solana. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to find a decentralized exchange that I can actually deploy liquidity onto, right? So if I know that I have funds on Solana and I want to make passive income with my Solana, I'm going to click on Solana. And now if I go here, I can see a bunch of data. I'm not going to go through all this with you guys. It's not the intention of this. We go over that more in the program. But I can now see a lot of the different decentralized apps that are built on Solana. So I go through here. You guys might have heard of Jito, Jupiter, Sanctum, Radium. And I see there's one here called Orca. And I can see that Orca is getting a healthy amount of inflows in TVL. I got about $400 million right there. So I can actually click on this and I can go to their website. Boom. And now I'm back to exactly where I was at before, right? So this is how you can find safe protocols by going in, and you can see all the top protocols that are on the platform, on the blockchain, on Solana, right? That's the same thing with Base. That's the same thing with Ethereum. That's the same thing with XRP. All of that. You can go and check those things so that you're not going on some sketchy website. You can see how much TVL, which is the amount of money that's on that specific protocol. So if I go over to this here, now I'm on Orca, okay? And then I can go over to Judah, I see your message. How do you know they're safe? We're going to go over that on day 3 and a little bit on day 2. Then I can go over to pools. Now I can see, okay, here are a bunch of different liquidity pools. I can go ahead and click on one of them. Let's say this one's got a lot of volume here and $47 million in TVL. So that seems like a pretty good one. It's paying out $158,000 in fees in the last 24 hours. So I can just click on this here. Oh, it's not loading. What's going on? Load for me. Oh, there it goes. All right, let me close out Zoom. It's probably taking up bandwidth, having Zoom and StreamYard open. So now this is loading here. How's everybody's day going? Everybody throw your favorite color into the chat. I like blue. Oh, man. Well, this is just lovely, isn't it? Don't you guys just love when this happens? Okay. TVL JDog is total value locked. So it's the amount of liquidity that's actually inside of a blockchain or in a protocol. Hell yeah, Mike. He likes the color blue. Purple, red. Heck yeah. Cobalt blue. Love it. All right, cool. You just see green. I love it. So this is what pops up when you're, and this is Orca. This is one of our favorite decentralized exchanges for providing liquidity because it's one of the easiest user interfaces. Okay. So when I go into here, I can actually come into here and I could say, okay, I want to put my Solana and USDC to work in here. Okay. So I was going to do 10K, but now I got to go back to, because I didn't swap it before. Oh, no, I'm good. Okay. So now what I want to do is in order to go into a liquidity pool, majority of the time, you need to be able to put in 50% of one token and 50% into another token, right? So for the pool that I was looking at, you guys saw it, it's Solana and USDC. So just for the sake of not skipping any steps, that's how I know that I need to go into this pool here, okay? So if I go over here, I'm going to swap half of my USDC into Solana. Trade, boom, it's coming through. You can see it executing the trade. It pops up here. I have to type in my password. Boom, confirm the transaction. And if you haven't used a decentralized exchange before, this is a decentralized exchange instead of something like Coinbase. Okay. So now I have just swapped half of USDC. Just if you're sticking with me, I had $10,000 with the USDC and I just swapped that for Solana. So it's 50-50. So now you can see right here. So now what I can do is I go here and I see, okay, I've got, this is the chart. Where do I want to deploy my liquidity? And we're going to be diving into concentrated liquidity a little bit more later, but I can go into here and I can say, okay, well, let's say I want to deploy liquidity between, this range. I'm not using any strategy here just for the sake of time. I'm just doing it. I could go here and I could go to put that into the pool. Okay. And now you can see here, estimated yield 24 hours is 1.7%. In 24 hours, I'm going to earn 1.7% from this, as long as it stays within this range of these two, the upper and the lower bars. So now I could go here. I could go to deposit that money. It's going to deposit that for me. Got to go through the same process. This is me signing the smart contract. Cool. Boom. You've successfully deposited USDC and SOL into this liquidity pool, right? And now that's it, guys. I'm in a liquidity pool and I'm earning money. That's it. It's that easy, right? Now, it's that easy to get into a liquidity pool. There are so many questions that could pop up. Like Kevin said, what happens if it goes out of your range? Do you lose it all? No, you don't lose it all. There's systems in place. You don't lose all your crypto if it goes out of the range. I promise you. Nobody would do this if that was the case. But no, we'll be going over that a little bit later. That's where impermanent loss comes in. But as long as that the price stays within this range right here, I am earning money consistently, right? And you can see right here, 1.7%. And if I can actually switch this to where it shows me every 30 days, that's 28% over the course of 30 days on Solana USDC. Now, don't just come in here all willy-nilly and throw money into a liquidity pool because you think you're going to get 30% APY. 30% a month. There are stipulations. If it goes out of the pool, things will happen, right? Like you might be fully in USDC or you might be fully in SOL, right? Based on a permanent loss. You need to learn these things so that you can help yourself, like actually maximize the opportunity. Okay. There's a lot of questions that you guys, I'm sure, having right now that I can't answer right now. We got to keep going through the presentation, but those questions will be answered throughout the rest of the next 3 days. Okay, cool. Let me bring us back over. All right. Get a 1 in the chat if that was helpful, guys. A 1 in the chat if that was helpful. All right. Cool. All right. So let's say you deposited $20,000 into a liquidity pool and I already did the SOL USDC one. And if you were to earn 15% monthly on that, keep in mind, if you're doing 15% a month, this is not going to be fully passive income. That could be $3,000 a month in semi-passive income. Okay. Let's say you only earn 70% of that because maybe you went out of the range for a while and like you weren't noticing it. So you weren't earning yield while you were out of the range, but then you came back and you rebalanced it like a day later or 2 days later. Let's say you made 70% of that. That's $2,100 a month. This is not trading. You're simply predicting sideways price action and profiting off of the fees you're simply predicting sideways price action and profiting off the fees other people pay in order to make the trades. I need to drink water. I'm talking a lot. All right, cool. Let's jump back into it. So this is how you become the house, right? There's traders that are trading all the time, right? They're going to win or lose, right? Why does this keep happening? Traders are going to trade all the time. They're either going to win or lose. Most of the time they lose. But what if you started to make money on their trades? What if, just like how Coinbase makes money on your trading fees, what if you started making the money from the trading fees? That's what DeFi opens up the door to. That's what I just did on Orca, right? I'm now earning passive income with my Solana and USDC. Okay? It's that simple. but it's also not. There's more things that go into it. So please don't just jump in without more training and more education. Please, I don't want to be responsible for that. Please dive into more research first. Okay, cool. And I don't say that to scare you guys by any means. There's just like, you'll learn more in the rest of the stuff. It's not like this crazy stuff. It's just, yeah, I don't want you guys to jump in and then think that you're going to earn on Solana USDC like all the time. And then it goes out of your range and then you don't know what to do. Nothing drastic is going to happen, but it's important to get more education. Cool. All right. And then, let's dive into the example of the APY for the stable coin. That was 13.2% boosted APY. So let's say you put $100,000 in and you're earning that 13.2%. That would be $13,170 in yield, $13,000 around $200, which is rounded up for that first year. Now, let's say you compound that over 3 years. That's $128,000, 663, right? And then let's say you earn the $16,000 on that. And you compound that again year over year. After year 9, you're at $243,000. And then you're putting that back in. You're compounding it, $343,000. Now, I have a disclaimer. We do not know if this yield will last for 12 years, right? To be honest, it probably won't. It probably will not last 12 years. But here's the thing with crypto. There's always a new protocol that's launching that has to reward you and incentivize you in order to utilize them. Right? So you could be moving and bouncing around, going to these different yield. That's why it's called yield farming, right? Because when a farmer is farming his crops, he might destroy the soil and he has to go move over to a new plot of land in order to go into that more enriched soil. So you might have to move your funds around from place to place. Okay. Now, how does that compare to your current wealth management returns? Okay. I was actually just on a call with a client a while back, and he was telling me about how he has money in Morgan Stanley. Won't name the client. And he's had money with them for about 7 years. And he was talking with me. He was like, hey, should I take my money out? And I immediately let him know, I can't really tell you what the answer is to that. I'm not a financial advisor. I am not an accountant. I don't know about the tax implications for you. But let me ask you some questions. How much have you made from that? He told me it was nothing. It's the same amount that's been in there for 7 years because he keeps losing money to the actual management fees and the trading fees. So it's technically it's made more, but it's been eaten up by the management fees. And I said to him, I was like, I mean, honestly, I can't tell you what to do. But what I can do is I can ask you questions. I'm a big believer in, you guys probably know who Socrates is. I love Socratic questions. So I'm such a nerd, but anyways, I love Socratic questions. They help you with helping other people in a far more effective way than just giving people answers. Right. So I asked Rick, oh, sorry. His name's not Rick. I asked this guy, if you knew what you know today 7 years ago, would you still have given them your money? He said no. And I said, okay. So if you went back in time, you wouldn't have done it. So you going back in time and doing it is kind of the same thing, and not doing it is kind of the same thing as kind of similar to not continuing to allow it. He goes, yeah. And I said, now be honest with you. Do you trust them? He's like, well, no. I'm do you trust yourself more? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay. Well, then what do you think you should do? And he goes, I think I should take my money out. I'm like, I'm not saying that, but do whatever you feel is best with the information that you have, right? There's how many other people are experiencing that same problem where the traditional finance that we've known forever is not giving the returns that it was promised to give so long ago. Sometimes you have to go find new soil that's richer, that has, that has more nitrogen. I don't know if we're still going with the soil example. But now let me get a quick temp check. Can somebody put in the comments, has this been valuable for you so far? Can I get a hashtag it's paid? I've been seeing them come through constantly. I see Jay asked me a question. What exchange am I on? That was on Orca. Throw an "it's paid" at the comments if that was actually helpful. Beautiful. Okay. Now, here's the truth. 99% of crypto investors are still treating their portfolio like it's 2017. Okay. They're still paying outrageous fees, right? And to elaborate on that a little bit more, when you are actually jumping into, sorry, I saw this and this was a typo, so it totally threw me off. This is supposed to say bull runs, and I think it got auto corrected to bull runners, and that looks really bad. No, that's not supposed to say that. It's supposed to say relying on bull runs to make money. But hey, we're being authentic here. I love it. This is hilarious. So let me elaborate on the still paying outrageous fees thing. When you're making swaps on like Coinbase, it really, you're paying a lot in fees, right? And if you go over to something like a decentralized exchange, you're paying very minimal. Thank you. Thank you for switching that, tech team. I appreciate you. Then you're actually paying outrageous fees on Coinbase and all these different centralized exchanges. But if you switch over to something like a decentralized exchange and do swaps there, like you might pay like $2 on like a $10,000 swap. Like it's crazy. You'd pay like tons of money, $50, $100 to do like $10,000 swap on like a Coinbase or something, but you might pay like $1 or $2. Like to be completely honest with you guys, like if you're trading with a significant amount of money and you're like making swaps all the time on like Coinbase or something like that, joining Altcoin Pro University, which is not the intention for this. We have another offer that we're going to be sharing with you guys at the end of this. Joining something like that, or like joining our program that we're going to be talking about later, you might get the money back just from the trading fees, just by switching over decentralized exchanges. It's crazy. But most traders are still not making passive income on their crypto. They're still relying on bull runs to make money, and they have zero predictability with their portfolio. They're just like holding on and hoping for a bull run to come out. Okay. They're like, feel like they're like, it's like this. And I know how you guys feel because I've been there. It's like this energy of like, oh, well, the bull run's gone, so I got to wait another 4 years before I can make any money with crypto. I might as well just stop looking at my portfolio and watch freaking, I don't know, Friends. Right? It's like, how many of you guys feel like that? Put a 1 in the chat if that's exactly how you feel. That if you don't make this next bull run, then all the opportunity is gone. You got to wait another 4 years. It doesn't have to be like that. You can make money no matter what the market is doing, but most people just don't realize that. Okay? You could be utilizing DeFi to pay minimal fees. You could be earning daily passive income on your crypto. You could, again, no longer relying on, can you change this one too? No longer reliant on bull runners. Oh my gosh. Bull runs. Beautiful. Thank you. No longer reliant on bull runs to make you money. And you can have a predictable system that actually works for you. Okay. Now you've waited long enough. Now it's time for you to make your crypto earn like your future depends on it. Okay. Let's sum it all up today. So today you've learned why holding alone is not a strategy. You've learned how liquidity providing can pay you. You've learned what kind of returns you can actually expect, both with semi-passive income and passive income. Okay. And then you've also learned how to pick the right pools using real data, right? You've learned how you can go into DeFi Llama. You can look at the different blockchains. You can click into that blockchain. Think about like zooming into that blockchain. You can see the different decentralized applications that are built on that blockchain. And I want to give like this might be helpful for the right person. So I want to make sure I said it. So if you're still not sure what blockchains are, some blockchains are just meant for storing, like transactions and stuff like that, like Bitcoin. You're not really having a lot of applications built on it. But like other blockchains, like Ethereum and Solana and Sui, you almost want to think of them as like decentralized app stores, right? Where like anybody can come in and actually build an application on those blockchains. So think about like a decentralized iOS app store or like a decentralized Google Play Store. That's what Ethereum and Solana and Sui, that's what those things are, to make that as simple as possible for you guys. And then you also learned how to set it up so it runs while you sleep. If you get into a yield farming pool like a USDC, USDT, that's just going to run while you sleep. Now, you will make less returns on something like a USDT, USDC, simply because the fees are a lot lower, but you will make passive income on it. Cool. And then we'll be going over how to pick the right pool and using real data in more depth, and how to set it up so it runs while you sleep in more depth on the next session, which will be tomorrow. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. If it was valuable, and if you guys got the value that you were looking for from this presentation, I want you guys to drop a hashtag it's paid in the chat. Now, if you guys did not get the round table session and you want to be on it tomorrow and the next day, or you want to get the recording from earlier today, if you were in that round table session and you found value in that, please drop a 1 in the chat, or say, hey, you guys should get VIP tickets. Go ahead and say something like that so that they know, right? We don't want to show up to these calls and not provide just an immense amount of value. I know that for some people at the beginning of the calls might feel like it's, oh, come on, it's dragging on. I feel you. I completely feel you. I've been there. I've been in your situation. But we have to go through these calls like somebody's never heard of this before. It's our responsibility to make sure that these presentations are applicable for everybody and not just the few that might have a little bit more experience. So please bear with us in that with all of these sessions moving forward. Okay, guys. If you guys do want to upgrade to VIP to have access to the round table tomorrow and Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and you want to get the recording from the call that was at 7 p.m. today, then Yaya is actually going to drop he's typing me right now. He's going to drop in the chat a link so that you guys can actually go ahead and upgrade to the round table so you can join us tomorrow at 7 p.m., an hour before the actual session. Okay. Let me go in here and check real quick. Go to the private section. Okay. All right. Did we send that in there? Did you guys see that? Somebody said sell, sell, sell. We're not selling anything right now, guys. Danielle says, I just need the link. I would like to join your round table, Natasha. I appreciate you talking to me like I'm 2 years old. I'm over 50 and this shit is hard for me. Sam, that is such incredible feedback. I appreciate you for that. That's what I aim to do. I hope I used to be nervous doing that because I don't want to offend people by speaking in such simple terms. But, if somebody gets offended by the way that I communicate something, that's on them. All right. Yeah. Can you send in the private chat? Okay, it's pinned. It's pinned in the comments. Cool. So in the comment section on YouTube, then it should be pinned there so that you guys can get the upgraded ticket for the VIP roundtable sessions. So I hope to see you guys there tomorrow, which here's that information. Okay. All right, guys. So today was about opening your eyes to what's possible with earning yield with your crypto. But tomorrow's where we actually start to set it up a little bit more. Okay. We'll show you how to pick a legit protocol. We'll teach you how to avoid pools that might blow up. And then we'll teach you how to follow some best practices to stay safe and secure going into both tomorrow and the day after that. And you guys will see how easy it is and how simple it can be to actually follow the right steps to get to there, right? You'll understand exactly what we meant when we said you can earn passive income without trading, without selling your coins, and without stressing over every market move. Realistically, if you've got some funds ready to deploy, you could have your first yield position live and paying you by tomorrow night. And once that's in place and you feel what it's like to actually start making passive recurring revenue with your crypto, instead of just letting it sit idle and collecting dust, everything changes. And then on Tuesday, it's not just about getting into DeFi. It's about staying in the game long enough to see the fruits of your labor. That's what day 3 is all about. So we'll actually show you how to keep your portfolio safe while it's working for you. We'll show you the exact filters that we use to spot red flags, dodgy, sketchy protocols that could blow up your portfolio so that you don't have those things happen to you. And then we'll also one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to dive in and actually show you some like the 11 laws of like when you before getting into a yield farming position that you want to like make sure you pay attention to, right? That way you don't, break a law and then break your portfolio, right? We want to make sure that we equip you guys with some of the right like resources to be able to go out and just honestly do this even without us after this. Because and to be honest with you, like we've said earlier in the call, like we are going to be making an offer both tomorrow and on Tuesday to you guys. And we know that like if we want people to trust us to work with us on this new offer, we have to deliver an immense amount of value, right? Like Nick was saying, this isn't like some altruistic, like we just want everybody to have the opportunity. Like we do. And that's why we have the $97 a month for everybody. So it's not like a fair price point that everybody can afford. But like our other intention for this is we want to show you guys so much value that if you guys do feel called to work with us in a greater capacity, then you will have that option either tomorrow or the next day. Okay. So show up Tuesday. If you want to show up Tuesday, both tomorrow and Tuesday, we'll have a ton of information there that I promise will be incredibly valuable to you, just as I hope today was. Okay, cool. All right. So that's everything I got for you guys. I will see you tomorrow.